ask her to put in some salsa.
Is corn chowder okay?
Yes, corn is okay.
Yeah, I will say. I kind of want salsa, but it has to be. I can't have cheap salsa.
Well, it's the church only has the one kind of salsa.
So probably not. Yeah, cheap salsa hurts my stomach. You guys try some.
Do you see why I'm having trouble?
Yes, I realize I'm trying to.
Yeah. So you might have to get Caden to buy it for you or something. Or just wait until we get back on our feet a little bit more.
I can make it artificially through beans.
With what?
I can make spicy foods through other beans. There are other ways to do it.
I'm just saying. Anyway, so yes, I have a son that loves... Oh boy, that's even more so. If it's weird to you...
I mean, I made the one that said it was more healthy, but like, gross. I'm not hungry anymore. I think this one's bad. Yeah.
Is it just it needs more salt? Because
It tastes like water.
it needs seasoning then. Because
Exactly, it tastes
like
water.
salt and stuff. Basically, they don't add any... The healthier one, I got a low carb or a low sodium one for Brett.
Oh, well, I guess I'm eating that, so. Where is it?
Because we got those for Brett.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not blaming you. He hasn't taken them to work, and he's basically said he's not going to.
They're delicious.
But I got a low sodium. But knowing you, there's salt.
Pepper last.
There is salt in my room. In the real salt's in my room in that box.
Son of
I would bet anything, if that's all you're saying is it doesn't have flavor, that it's not bad. It just is the fact it's a low sodium one and your body's screaming for the salt.
There was a salt and pepper shaker. And I'm kind of like,
And you may find some up in the cupboard too, one of the cupboards.
I'll put this on the plate.
Anyways,
Son of a... Are you kidding me?
you like hitting that vacuum, don't you? Anyway, so yeah, I raised my kids to like food. Even as if I would despise something, they were exposed to it from the time they were little. And I will say there was plenty of foods that I did not like, that I literally choked down keeping a smile on my face. And my kids had no absolute necessarily choking them down.
The tomatoes that, like, when we go to restaurants, you would give them to us because you didn't like them. Yeah, and I never realized. I thought you were just being nice. Like, oh, tomatoes! Yeah, I love tomatoes. Yeah, I'll take those. And then you just don't like them.
Oh, but what about your reaction when you found out I hate, like literally, not just don't like them, but literally despise green beans?
That was confusing to me. Like, 'cause it's like you've eaten green beans like forever, and I can eat green beans. I just don't want to. Like, they're one of the few things where it's like, all right.
I choke them down. I would choke them down every single time we had them, putting a smile on my face so that you guys did not get...
I used to think you loved green beans. I was like, Mom loves green beans. Sure. But No. I'm hating you.
I'm okay if they're in mushroom cream sauce.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's about the only way. It's in that box. It's the pink in a pink bag. It's in a pink bag. And okay. But yes, my kids literally, until they were in their teens and old enough to know what they liked and didn't like, they thought I liked green beans. I was fine with them. I just exposed them to everything because I didn't want my taste.
Rubbing off on a way.
Yeah, rubbing off on them. And them feeling, I need some of that.
So?
And them growing up being picky. And the way I did it, whatever we had for dinner, that was what was for dinner. If you didn't like it, you could wait till the next day. You had to take one bite of everything. If you liked it, you could have more than one bite. That was fine. But you could not have seconds until you had at least one bite of everything. And I would throw strange things on their plates.
There were only two food items that I disliked as a kid that I can remember. And that was seaweed and asparagus. And now I love seaweed and I love asparagus.
Which I will say, seaweed I'm okay with, and it's actually pretty good. Asparagus? No, I will say that was one you did not get exposed to very often.
No.
Because I couldn't even bring myself to choke it down. And so how was I going to keep hidden from you enough that you guys would give it a fair chance?
Yeah, I think the first time I had it is we were at one of your friends' house late at night, and they were like, eat the asparagus. And I was like, okay. Didn't like it. And then we got
Maybe
the asparagus
Amy?
plant. I think it was. And then we got the asparagus plant, and Brett made it, and I was like, started making asparagus when I was like, hey, this is pretty good.
I could see Amy doing that to you because she knew how I felt about things. She knew I wanted you guys exposed to a wide variety of foods.
Yo.
And that was especially helpful when Amy was around because she could expose you and I would not have to be around. So when it was something I didn't like, it was even easier to have her make it when I was not around. But because you guys knew she would uphold my rules, you had to try it. The salt made all the difference. Am I right? It wasn't bad. It just didn't have any sodium to it.
And I'm like 50% sodium, so...
No, but it makes a difference. Even you've had times you know that you've gotten low and you have to get some.
I just like salt, so like...
Yeah, but there's
I've never
been...
loved salt.
there was once or twice that you almost passed out.
Well, okay, yeah, that was because I hadn't had my salt in like a week.
Like I said, it doesn't happen much, but
Very rarely. For me, at least. Because I put salt in literally freaking everything. It's
But-
like hot sauce.
well, and I'm gonna point this out to you. You always wondered how Danny would know when there was soy in something and he was at his limit.
Is it salt?
No. His body knew he needed it. And so he'd take a bite and he'd be full.
I do find it funny that, like, I used to be, like, kind of allergic to soy sauce, and now I'm like, you know, oh, there's some rice, huh?
Yeah, I will say you were. Diarrhea.
Now I just like soy sauce. Yes, now put it in my ramen.
And I don't know why or anything, but your body slowly was able to adapt to where it didn't give you diarrhea. And that was the thing. You guys would have diarrhea up the wazoo if you got soy.
Danny isn't texting me, but I'm gonna go now and see if he needs help.
Okay.
I would like to take a shower. Because, gross. From cleaning last night, so.
Okay, let's see. We need to get... I'm looking at the next ones too. We're gonna need to place 5 images, do the Wizarding XP. And collect notes. So yes, it does look like I should probably... That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Drop a... That's the... Trace tonic. 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 Wrong one. Drop a... That's the... Sorry, I can hear it. Hopefully that fixed it. So what they're working on is we had a water heater give out, and we are getting another water heater put in. My son's putting in a new well, it's a used water heater that my dad had on hand. But it actually works. Whereas and doesn't leak all over the floor, which our last one was doing. And then we'll see if Dad has an idea if it's gone or if it's Dad needs to repair it gone. So he said he doesn't need your help?
Sorry, what?
He didn't want your help?
No, I can't help.
Okay.
He's trying to disconnect the old water heater stuff. And he isn't doing wrong, so I can't help because he's disconnected.
And he doesn't want you in the way accidentally.
No, he didn't say it like he was in there, and I was just like,
yeah.
He told me what he was doing, and I was like, I can't help, so I left. Because I can't help with that. And Danny doesn't know how to disconnect it.
And you don't want to be under feet. Which Danny's an amazing person, but like almost all of the Mr. Fix-It personalities I know, if not all, and by Mr. Fix-It I mean the ones who literally you can give them something to fix and they can fix it. Doesn't matter if it's computers, if it's building a house, if it's plumbing, if it's electrical. Etc., etc., he can fix it. And like almost everyone I know, they're the sweetest, most amazing people ever. Until you get under their feet when they're in the middle of a job. Does that about cover it, David?
Yep. I felt that with Grandpa a lot, where it's like, I want to help, but if I stay, you're going to get mad. So I'm going to leave.
There is a certain point of, okay, I can keep going from here and he won't get mad. To, if I do anything, I'm going to be in trouble. So I will extract myself from the situation right now. Am I right? And it depends on their patience for the day, on how frustrating what they're doing is, which it sounds like what Danny's working on right now is maybe grating on his nerves because it's not listening to him. Let's go after that one. I don't need it, but oh, it's I wonder if the pipes have rusted together and he needs WD. Okay.
Probably. I think the only thing I can help with is bringing the new one down and like taking the old one up and bringing the new one down. That's gonna suck.
We're gonna need to be aware and maybe get in the shower.
I need to get in the shower.
Yeah, I was gonna get at on Sundays or Saturday, Sunday. We need to stagger showers a bit more. It's easier the rest of the week, but when we usually try to get everyone in the household in within 12 hours of each other, plus do a load of laundry.
Shower's Saturday night.
Yeah, that's why I said within 12 hours of each other.
Not really. I usually do it pretty, like near 8, usually.
And they usually are up here getting in around 8. So maybe 14 or 16 hours, but still.
Okay, alright. Didn't realize they were up here that early.
Well, church starts at 10:30. Which is only 2 hours later.
Yeah. Alright. I'll take showers earlier then.
And I'm just saying we need to work with everyone. Because sometimes they get in at night too. And then so you get in, I get in, they get in. And then we also run a load of laundry.
Yep.
And we're going down 10 gallons of hot water. That's why I'm mentioning it. Which means there'll be less hot all at once. So once it runs out, it'll probably heat up faster. Because it has less to heat.
Oh.
But at the same time, we are talking less hot to begin with. So we also might turn it up just slightly and just be aware. To be aware that water could burn him. I'm sorry.
I better know.
And if the youngest person knows and anyone else messes up, or anyone else isn't smart enough to know.
I don't know, Caden just threw a full egg into the microwave once. So, I mean...
He had not been taught to cook, sweetie. I know.
He's like, he was like, David, how do you cook an egg in the microwave? And I was just like...
You put it in the microwave.
And he just doesn't even crack the egg and puts the full egg in the microwave. And then he asked why I didn't cook. Like, what? Yeah, I took my sleeping medicine, but...
Okay.
He was so confused. He's like, what do you mean? Like, what?
And you were like, I'm just shocked. He watched it. How many times did he see you come out of the kitchen with the eggs on a plate, having cooked them in a microwave?
Yeah, like...
But I can't blame him because, like I said, who taught him to cook? His mom never allowed him to cook. And then by the time we got here, he was kind of... think about it. That wasn't that long. I think it was in the first couple of years after we got custody of him full-time, and he just went to visit his mom. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's not saying anything bad about his mom. Yes, every one of my kids learned to cook from the time they were little. None of that is an excuse. I'm going to be honest. It's just not... It's more common now than it used to be, but it's still not that common. It was just my feeling was that when you left here to go on a mission or to live on your own or whatever, by darn, you were going to know what to do.
Oh, hey, you're back?
Did you text me?
I kind of figured that was you who forwarded that.
Yeah, that's why I said, did you text her? Because I'm streaming.
Danny's trying to work on disconnecting the old one right now.
Did you get the new one in?
No, I just...
How would they get the new one in if he's trying to get the old one out?
Here's your card back, though.
No. Just rip that up and put it in recycling. Short?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, my kids were raised to eat almost everything. Taught how to cook, taught how to clean. Basically, when they moved out, I wanted them to know taught how to shop. The works. I wanted them when they left home to be able to take care of themselves and not be having to live on takeout or freaking out or any of that. And I will admit part of it was I talked to other mothers. Well, there was a few things. One, I talked to some mothers who helped with people when they'd go on missions, and they'd be talking about how the kids when they'd go on missions wouldn't know how to clean. You know, I heard plenty of horror stories of what some apartments looked like after missionaries had lived there for a while, because one or more of the missionaries didn't know how to clean, and I did not want that. And then I heard stories of some of the missionaries not being able to make the amount of money they had meet, like, go the whole month. And that kind of shocked me. And I literally, and you know, parents sending almost as much or more than they were getting through the church to pay for their expenses every month to take care of them. And I was going, and then I did hear a lot of mission presidents actually clamped down on it and said, no, you do, only for emergency situations do we want you sending money. And so I wanted my kids to be able to know how to take care of, how to shop while they were on their missions. And I did with my oldest one, because I wasn't sure, and I knew meats cost more, and I didn't know how much they were given. I contacted the mission president and told him of the increased need for meat. and that it should be taken into account. And he actually gave my son a little bit extra for a few months. And my son ended up saying, you know what, I don't need it. And I asked my son about it later on, and he said, I didn't need it because they gave us more than enough. I could take care of everything of his needs. He said, I'm eating I'm eating the same or similar diet to when I was home. Don't worry about that. I'm totally taking care of myself. It's just, and I guess a lot of the missionaries were eating out and stuff, but I didn't know that at the time, so. I said, my kids, my oldest went with a pair of hair clippers in case someone could cut his hair, and he didn't end up using his at all while he was on his mission, because someone in his mission actually cut hair. But by the second one, he went knowing how to cut his hair. I think you've cut your own hair, haven't you, David?
Yeah, I cut my own hair. Well, I used to.
Yes, used to. I will say that. His hair's down to below his shoulders.
No, it's like about halfway down my back at this point.
Like I said, below his shoulders. But it's only been, 2 years or something?
Yeah, about 2 years at this point, yeah.
That you've been growing it out. It's not like... So a lot of people, when they see your length, they think you've been growing it for 5 or 6 or 10 years.
My hair grows fast. However,
Yeah.
I think it's stopping growing, actually.
So hair does have a maximum. And it's very reasonable you've reached that max. And so if you wanted to donate it,
Well, I can't.
I was gonna say you'd have to quit dyeing it and let it.
If you dye it once, just they either throw it away or use it to clean up oil. Both fair.
But if you let it grow out to where the color's not there.
Yeah, but like the color's the only. There's like a little bit of brown.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Of course, that would be 2 years down the road, but. Two more Rubeus Hagrid, and then we'll be on to the part 4.
Tomorrow, BT, I'm gonna have some picking up. Because I got to.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go first, and then I'm gonna go. Just see. And there's that girl who also gonna be out there.
Getting your last full day D&D sessions in and whatever.
I'm just gonna be first.
But you get what I'm saying, where you start school.
Well, we might try to start doing Fridays. Since I don't have school Fridays.
That's
Fridays
true.
or Saturdays. That's what I'm planning on to start doing Fridays. But then some of them we're also going to start going to school Saturday.
Yeah, because Mountain Crest, I think, will have school Friday. So your one that's Saturday will have to stay Saturdays. Okay, but I'm saying your one that's Saturdays will already have to stay Saturdays, so you
Yeah,
wouldn't...
but that's still okay. So, some, like, for this week, it's next week, this week for Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just saying that so you couldn't do it every Saturday
Yeah.
with the one group because you have the other group. Yes, how many different D&D sessions do you have going?
Right now?
Yeah?
Only 3? Well, okay. Not technically I have 5, but 2 of them aren't really happening. One of them I just don't show go to because it's online. The other one is just inactive. The other three I constantly like every one of them's every week for like 12 to like 15 hours. Like every single day, like session is like a full day. And then I've got a different session that is usually Friday evenings every other week from like 6 to like 10-ish. And then I got another group that is like every other Saturday from like 2:30 to like 8, 9-ish. However, I might be starting another one, so I love D&D, okay?
I purposely did that for the benefit of the stream.
I have a lot. I could have more. I could have more. But I don't, for a reason.
Your suggestion to get Gareth to talk by empathizing with him is proving easier said than done, Constance. How can I possibly sympathize with someone who's caused so much harm? Gareth was also close to Grim. He would have had plenty of opportunity to manipulate Grim into casting the Foundable spell. He very likely murdered a healer because she wouldn't help him, Constance. He had Ron and the London Five abducted. This isn't a thief who steals because he can't afford to feed his family otherwise. You're right. Gareth has done something truly some truly reprehensible things, but you don't have to condone his actions to sympathize with him. You lived his life in your dreams and felt all of his emotions. Why don't you try tapping into that? I suppose it can't hurt to try. One more, and then we'll continue talking. I figured it was only a matter of time before the Auror office would grow tired of playing by the rules, though I'm surprised the golden boy who lived is the one who will be getting his hands dirty. I haven't come to interrogate you, Gareth. I just wanted to talk about your daughter, Ceres. She suffers from a serious blood malediction, doesn't she? How do you know that? When you tapped into my memories to create adversaries, bits and pieces of yours leaked through. Ceres is why you desperately sought out the Foundable spell, isn't it? Because you thought it'd give you what you most desired, a cure for the supposedly incurable curse. If you've been in my head as much as you say, then you already know the answer to that, don't you? And he's out of the room for a minute, so we'll continue in a minute.
They just go and grab some.
Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, yes, he loves D&D, if you can't tell. And I literally only brought it up for the benefit of the stream because I thought that even people who like D&D, are into D&D, will usually have one group going. And then there's you. I only have 3, well, maybe 5, and I'm working on another one.
Well, it's also the fact that I may or may not have memorized the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide. So if I need to find something in either of them, I'll be like, oh, it's right here. The Monster Manual is alphabetized, so I can also find anything I want. Some of the other books, like Volo's Guide, I know where everything is. Xanathar's Guide, I know where almost everything is. Mordecai Stone's one was harder because it's like a history of stuff and then like beasts and like monsters and stuff. Some one's a little harder to memorize, but I kind of have it. I got this new book which I'm reading that Stephen gave me for an birthday present. It's awesome. I'm reading it. It's awesome.
Well, and I will say a lot of people struggle, if they're doing 2 groups, they struggle to keep their characters separate. How similar are your characters? Not?
No. 2 of them have like semi-similar voices. That's because they're both like posh. So One of them's like a bard, and the other one's a wizard. And they're very different characters, but they have a similar accent because they're both posh. But one of them's like a less posh. The wizard's less posh because he's a hermit, so he's like lower posh.
And yes, for anyone playing D&D, he does fully immerse himself in it enough that when he's playing, he gives the characters voices that he uses. He does the voice acting for the characters and keeps the voices separate for each of those 3 characters. At the same time as keeping track of what their behavior is, what types of things would they actually do versus would they not do, how would they approach a situation, everything else. And yet they're all different.
Very. Like, this bard character I'm playing tomorrow he's mildly anarchist. He's a mild anarchist. So, and then I have another character who got who's pretty much like a guard. Like in someone else's world where he's like, you must follow the law. It's so stupid.
And so when he's playing, he literally is playing these different characters.
Yeah.
We actually, a little while ago, I saw a thing go across where this guy taught his grandma to play D&D. And she chose to be a boy because she's been a girl all her life and whatever else. And she loved playing it, and it actually helped her as she was dying and everything. And she became really good at it, and she was like older. She was, what did it say, in her 80s or 90s? Something like that. She died from cancer, and he said in all his campaigns from then on, he'd have an NPC that showed up that was basically her. As a tribute to her. Which I thought was really cool, and I showed David, and he loved it.
Yep. Very good. That's one of the reasons why I like D&D so much, because stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And well, I'll be honest, I don't play with him. I think he understands.
Yep. I tried to convince Brett to play once, and he was like, nah. So I was like, okay. I've played with Steven and Mindy and Danny.
Yeah, all the kids play.
Not as much as I
Yeah, I'll give you that. That would be kind of hard for people to play as much as you do, though, to be honest.
That's fair. It's almost like I have a job playing D&D. Only I could get paid. Technically, there is a way to get paid. I just don't know. Probably.
Which one are we working on? Secrets Revealed. There's more than one way to get paid, but you definitely could do a Twitch channel doing it. Especially imagine you playing with some of your siblings sometimes.